All right, we are live. How is everybody tonight? Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. We've got a lot to discuss tonight, so I'll make this quick, and then I'll bring on my panel, and we will dive right in. Let's see who's with us here tonight. We've got Not If I See You First. How you doing? We got Mike's AV here, or Mike SAV. My old buddy Horror Orban is here. We've got Rick here in the chat. Ghost, he can't be here with us tonight, but he's here in spirit because he's the Daily Ghost. We got RJ Skarinky here. Big Smells is here. Antonis is here. Hope everybody's having a good night tonight. What's up, Dylan? How are you? What's up at the dawn? Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Paulo Balboa is here. What's up, man? How are you? All right. Well, I'm going to bring on tonight's panel, and we're just going to dive in. We got a lot to talk about tonight. But joining me first is a man who exudes swag. It just pours out of every his pores. Okay, he needs to bottle it. I'm talking about Swaggy G. How you doing, man?
Thank you, sir. You read that just like I wrote it. Thank you, man.
Well, you actually looked surprised when I brought you on. Like, are you talking about me? Who else do you think I was talking about, Swaggy? I mean, come on.
You have such a great panel that it's tough to say, man.
Well, but everybody knows. But everybody knows that you're the one with all the swag. Everybody knows that. So.
Yeah, I'm changing up my attire today too. My brother got me this for Christmas, so I thought
you're very casual tonight. I like it. First stream of the year. Very casual. The Munster shirt on. Okay.
Yeah, it's got all the ladies here. I got let me see if I can Elvira in the middle there, and Mrs. Adams on that side. Yeah, so
I only saw Lily over there. But yeah, you got all the ladies on there.
Oh yeah.
All the goth girls, as Jeremy would call them. Goth girls.
Have you ever dated a goth girl?
I'd say yeah, she's fairly gothy.
I like that look.
Yeah. So,
I like the leather, the big boots, the chains. The black lipstick.
TMI, Swaggy. TMI. But if you're a goth girl out there, Swaggy, send Swaggy a message. He's on the prowl for a goth girl.
I'm begging you.
Oh goodness. So thanks for being here, Swaggy. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Also joining me tonight from the Flesh Wound Features YouTube channel, my old pal Dan. How you doing, Dan?
What's up, Piz? How's it going?
It's going good. How's everything with you?
It's going good. It's cold here though, in Atlanta. We've had as low as 14 degrees, so it's weird.
Wow. Yeah.
2 snowfalls.
That's the weather we've been having here, man, and it is yikes.
Yeah, but I'm surviving, watching some good movies.
That's what you do. When it gets down cold, you watch, stay in, stay warm, watch some good movies.
Just watch a lot of movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, always a pleasure, Dan. Thanks for being here, man.
Always great to be here.
Also joining me tonight is Happy New Chris. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Happy to be here.
Oh, great. Glad to have you. And, I understand y'all down there in Texas, you've had some frigid temperatures lately as well.
We have. It had like a polar vortex kind of thing hit us. We got as cold as we're probably going to get the rest of this year. Had like a light dusting of snow. But the weird thing is my old hometown in Lafayette, Louisiana, had about 12 inches of snow. And they only see a light dusting every 8 years. So this is unheard of. In fact, they had the most snow in the country on that day it happened, which is really weird.
Wow, that is insane. Yeah. I saw pictures, and it was like Louisiana. Like I was thinking, oh, that's around here, and it was like no, Louisiana, somewhere in Louisiana. It's like holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
So,
in fact, I also have some family out in Pensacola, Florida. They had snow on the beach.
I heard about that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, that polar vortex that came down from Canada, that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Blame Canada.
Yeah, those darn Canucks.
Mm-hmm.
There they keep your frigid temperatures to yourselves up there.
Exactly.
Eat your poutine and keep your frigid temperatures. Anyway, that's good to see you, Chris. Thanks for being here.
I'm glad to be here. Also, I was going to make a quick comment real fast. I've never seen Swaggy this dressed down before. It's kind of unheard of, but he still pulls it off. Even the barbed wire tattoo, he pulls it off.
I know.
That's how much swag he has.
Exactly.
In the late 90s, this was cool. It'll come back around.
Exactly.
Well, you might bring it back, Swaggy. You might bring it back single-handedly.
In 99, this was cool. Okay.
He needs the power of a new goth girlfriend to help him out, and just poof.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Just don't show off the tramp stamp, Swaggy. That did not age well. That didn't age well.
Yeah, that one, I really regret that one.
That one's not coming back. That one's not coming back. Oh Lord. And joining me tonight, Lord. How you doing, man?
I'm exhausted and cold. How are you?
I feel that. I definitely feel you.
On Monday, I walked out of my house at 6 a.m. in the morning to go to work, and it was -6 degrees.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yeah. So you ever try and scrape a windshield from -6 degree ice? It's not the same procedure as when it's like, 28. It's an ordeal. So I'm done with winter. It can be over now. That's fine. I don't think there's a lot of holdouts on this season at this point. I know people who like the beginning of the season because of the holidays that come around with the beginning of winter, but it's just not popular. The seasons need to read the room and get rid of this one.
I agree. You're right on. See, my when it gets that cold, like I can't even leave because like my car has the windows that like when you open the car, it and when the windows are frozen, you just can't get in the freaking car. You're totally locked out of the car.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah. I wasn't thinking about that when I bought the car, but when it's frigid here, it's I'm just staying in bed. So anyway, it's good to see you, Lauren. I'm glad you're here despite being cold and tired.
Mm-hmm.
I will try and stay awake and try and get warmer.
Okay, very cool. Well, it's been a while since we were last together, and there's been some new movies that have been released. Has anybody seen anything good recently?
I saw The Damned, speaking of winter horror, which is kind of perfect for winter. You can feel the chill emanating out of that movie. That one I would recommend. It should probably, I would imagine, be on VOD shortly. But I really enjoyed that. Non-horror suggestion I will throw out that I just watched last night. Chasing Amy. It's a documentary on a fan and how that movie affected the fan and directs this movie. And if you're a Kevin Smith fan, that's a really good documentary.
Okay. Interesting. I saw The Damned too, and I do highly recommend it. What did you, without giving too much away, if anybody has any negative things to say about The Damned, it would probably be the finale. How'd you feel about the finale?
I was okay with it. I don't want to give too much away by talking about it directly, but I didn't feel that I needed more than what I got.
I didn't either. I didn't either. Yeah.
Not every movie this year has stuck the landing, but or last year stuck the landing. But I thought that overall, I thought that was just perfect winter horror right now.
Yeah, the perfect. Yeah, exactly. Like if you're cold, that movie is going to make you several degrees colder, I think.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Double it up with The Thing or whatever your favorite winter base.
Yeah. Good, cold, slow burn, folk horror. When you get a good one, they're so good. And this was a good one.
I did also see The Vordelak, which technically came out over Christmas and was kind of overshadowed by Nosferatu, but the Vordelak is excellent. If that sounds familiar, of course, Black Sabbath. It's another take on the Tolstoy story, but really unique creature. I'll just put it that way. And if you're a fan of Black Sabbath, you will enjoy this version of the story.
Okay. Very cool. Who went out and saw Wolfman?
Did too. I'm a nerd.
Why?
Swaggy, did you see Wolfman?
Why?
No, it's on my list of stuff to see, but
Don't.
I love a good werewolf, you know.
Well,
Don't.
There's nothing.
You're gonna have to. You may have to wait until next year for 2026 for a good werewolf movie.
Mm-hmm.
You got Werewolves with Frank Grillo.
You got
Yeah.
Werewolves with Frank Grillo. It's fun. It's fun. It's
did
done
see
a horror
fun.
movie. Yeah, that was a good time. Do you think Wolfman would get as much hate if it wasn't called Wolfman? Because I didn't think it was awful.
I think if they would have just called it Virus or anything, it wouldn't have gotten as lambasted as it has been.
I liked it better. Sorry. Yes, I like this movie better when it was Antlers.
I can see that, I suppose. I mean, the human drama I thought was pretty strong. I liked the cast. For a Blumhouse movie, and this may just be the fact that my expectations are in the toilet when it comes to that name at this point, but I didn't think it was awful. I get why it's maybe not the Wolfman that people would hope for, but I didn't think it was as bad as people are saying.
Rabid, that would have been a good title if it had just been called Rabid. Like instead of it being a wolf or whatever, the face of the wolf, he just turns rabid. So a rabid monster.
It could be the second best film called Rabid.
Well, I mean, hey, you're not going to top Rabid, but
no,
you can be your own Rabid.
I think your thumbnail was like Rabid Possum Man or something like that.
Yeah, Rabid Possum Man. Yeah,
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Then it would have gotten a little more.
There was, I saw some posts from a guy. He had drawn up conceptual art for the wolf, for Lee Winnell's Wolfman, and it looked more wolfy than what we got. And I guess Winnell was like, it's too wolfy for my Wolfman movie.
I get where he was trying to go with it. I know he said he was heavily inspired by Cronenberg's The Fly, and you can see it now. It's not Cronenberg's The Fly, unfortunately.
Oh,
but,
no.
But I didn't hate it. I thought the script needed a lot of work, because the twist, I don't even call it a twist. I mean, it was pretty obvious where that movie was going.
Mm-hmm.
But no, not horrifically bad.
What did you think of it, Chris?
So, not horrifically bad, but just the most mid movie to start the year with. Like, there was no wolf really in it. It was a virus kind of spreading around. As well as, like, I made the kind of joke about I like it better as Antlers, because I felt like they're trying to be the symbolic of, like, oh, generational trauma and all of these things. Like, that's what Antlers did. Way better. About living in the hill country and things like that. Where this movie is just kind of like, okay, we kind of force our characters into situations because we needed to, not because it made sense. It was like, why don't we do this over here? And it's like, that makes no sense. We're doing it anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't like it. I reviewed it. Jeremy liked it for
The one kill.
I guess, yeah. It was one kill, but he enjoyed it, I guess. He
on his arm. I mean, there was some gore in there.
He really did seem to like it. Like he was watching back. He was getting really excited watching it. So good for him.
Do you think that it's more of an experience thing for Jeremy, though? Like the whole going to the theater, getting exciting for something. Maybe he has the ability to give more of give a film a benefit of the doubt more than we do, like the cynicism that we naturally have is not there for him, then I'm jealous of him,
100%.
frankly.
100%. He gets very excited about the movies. I talked about it in the video I did, my video response to your video, Lauren. He loves, like, he gets super excited when we're walking into the theater. He wants to walk all around it, look at all the posters, point out all the posters, the big standees. He wants to go look at all those. So he's excited. He loves the experience. Now on the other hand, I asked him the other night, I was like, would you want to rewatch Nosferatu? No. He said no. It's like, okay. But yeah, he loves that experience. Yeah. So, and the cynicism is definitely not there with him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all, is it better or worse than the Invisible Man movie that came out a few years ago?
Worse.
Ooh, no, I think I like the Invisible Man more.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's worse.
I don't. Oh, okay. I don't remember that much about that movie at this point, other than
because that was very simple, scaled down. The Elizabeth Moss one. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Leigh Whannell is like such an interesting director because he has so much fan support that I think he gets a pass a lot of times on the flaws of his films. It's interesting because, like, Invisible Man has massive plot holes.
That's the only thing I do remember about the movie. Some of the plot holes.
But at the same time, it's like it's an Invisible Man movie. By its very nature, there's a fantasy element that you have to accept. Now they tried to tech it up, which I think is completely the wrong move for that kind of thing, because then you're actually asking people to look into the magic, which is always a bad idea. But he has a lot of goodwill towards him, and it's not like a Flanagan situation, whereas it's hard to point to where he should have lost any of that goodwill, right? Because what's the bad Flanagan film? I'll wait. You tell me. So no, so it's like I just don't really know how this guy has. I like him. I like the best of his works quite a lot, but I get worried when someone signs up with Blum for the long term because it's going to bring out the worst, I think. And I didn't go see Wolfman because I'd heard some really. Listen, Universal Monsters, that's my DNA, right? I'm going to go in critical if it starts fucking around with what I want.
Yeah.
So I've made a pledge to myself a few years ago that I'm not going to go see things that I don't think I'll like. Simply because I'm not the audience for some of this stuff anymore. And this fell really into that. If I see a trailer for a classic Universal Monster reboot and it looks awesome, I guess I'm down. This did not have that for me. And I don't know.
I think one thing that these two movies have in common are really good performances. Because you're right, Invisible Man's not the perfect movie that some people thought it was, but Elizabeth Moss was excellent. I mean, she's one of our better actresses working today. And Wolfman has that too. I mean, Christopher Abbott, I believe, is the lead's name. I thought he was really sympathetic. The father-daughter relationship, I overlooked some of the script problems. It's by no means a fantastic movie. I don't think you need to see it in the theater, but it's not awful either. I don't know why Leigh Whannell kind of has that King of Horror tag that he seems to with people. I don't think he's really earned that yet. He's no Eggers, he's no Astor, but might be worth a watch. Just maybe go in, try and think of it as just not Wolfman. You might be okay.
So the problem is it feels like it's homework to me, and I decided I'm not doing homework anymore. That's what happened with the long-running franchises with me. It's just like, oh, well, I guess I have to see it because otherwise am I not a fan of this stuff? And I just decided, no, that's exactly the wrong reasons to go see a movie. You should go see a movie because you genuinely want to see the film. There's enough entertainment available for you now. I mean, we're all physical media guys to some degree or another, but streaming has opened up the whole world to you. And now the next generation of televisions that are coming out all have AI that's able to translate into subs, or in some cases, even dub films from overseas. You now are going to have everything ever made available to you. Why would you just go see something because you feel like you have to? That's not what fandom is about. Fandom is about finding what you really love. That's
Well, I mean,
it should be personal.
I mean, Lord, that you would not like this movie.
I'm assuming so.
No.
From what I've
You
heard
would
of
not
it,
like this movie.
yeah,
You'd be
I was kind of warned away by someone I really, really trust, who the exact review to me was before the film had come out. Close your eyes and imagine a film, a really bad werewolf movie. Okay, you just saw a better film. So
I will Upgrade. Lee Whannell's Upgrade is freaking
great
great.
film.
If you guys haven't seen Upgrade, you got to watch Upgrade. That is such a good movie.
Great film.
His best movie. Yeah, his best movie for sure. For sure.
But I was also going to say is I don't think what helped this movie out is the mom looked like the main actors from Candyman. So I kept thinking about a better movie the entire time.
It's funny. Who went out and saw Nosferatu? Did everybody here see Nosferatu?
Yes.
I think I might be the only detractor of Nosferatu. Did you like Nosferatu, Chris?
I like. To be fair, this is actually my first Eggers movie I saw. So I really appreciate the cinematography of it all. But overall, I thought it was good, but not like outstanding for me for the year.
What about you, Swaggy? What do you think of Nosferatu?
Yeah, I'll piggyback just on what Chris said. I thought it was, I loved the shadow play in it.
Mm-hmm.
The tones, the grays, the stuff in the castle, I thought was really good. Sometimes though, some movies are a little bit beyond me. Not that I enjoy a slow burn and the build up, and I know if what I've heard is it's very true to the original story. It's really not my type of movie. I thought it was okay. Would I ever watch it again? No. Would I recommend it to someone? It depends on the person, because it just wasn't. Maybe I had a little too much going into that.
Yeah,
it was definitely. I mean, like super high on my. I think it was super high on a lot of people's list. And like that thing, we knew that thing was coming out how many months ahead? Like we were waiting months and months, and at least 6 months for that to come out. So what were you going to say? Dan, I know you liked it.
I did like it. It was on my top 10, but it was number 6. So, it wasn't my favorite movie of the year. It was a really good year. It seems like the biggest complaint I hear is the mustache. The mustache.
Why is that? Why are people so hung up on that?
The mustache hate is just like broken my heart in the community.
Who cares about the
people hate facial hair?
Yeah, like the Zappa memes and the Tom Selleck Nosferatu memes out there.
Oh my god!
Like, it's a mustache. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Another thing that's like the two takeaways most people took from that movie was like the mustache and Nosferatu's penis.
Yes. Nosferatu's penis, yes, and
that was the two.
Ass. Yes, pancake ass came up on our show last night. But I can overlook the pancake ass. I can overlook the penis. I thought it was a great movie, but not my best of the year. I think one issue, and I know Lauren, I talked to you about it, is the familiarity that people have with the story. It is a longer movie. More or less where it's going. I mean, it's not exactly the Dracula story, but it's pretty damn close. And I think that's it. I think there's just been a lot of Dracula stories out there, and it doesn't click as much for people anymore. I don't know, generally speaking, if it's the crowd pleaser that it used to be, sadly.
It's good,
but I mean, it's made lots of money.
This one did. I mean, this one did.
That's good for Eggers, because that means he's going to be able to make more movies the way he wants to make them. So
yeah.
And even though I didn't like Nosferatu, I mean, his other stuff I've loved. The Northman was my favorite movie of a couple of years ago. And I mean, The Witch and The Lighthouse are incredible movies.
Yeah, Witch I think is his best. for me.
I was going to ask you where you would put Nosferatu on the list.
Ooh, it's hard to compare Northman because that's almost like closer to a separate genre. I'd say it's on par with Lighthouse. But Witch is like my easy number one. I think you could argue that they're all classics, at least in my book. Really, Lighthouse I can see maybe being just a little too weird for some people. I loved it, but I'm weird, so. But I think he's earned the Master of Horror label.
Oh, for sure. There's no doubt. I wonder how many Twihards went into Lighthouse. Like, ooh, he's in it. He's in it. And they were like 5 minutes in. We're like,
so many. Like,
yes,
this is not Edward.
The internet was so horny for this fucking movie. It was like, why? Just why?
Robert Pattinson's done an awful lot since Twilight. I mean, he's taken chances. He's worked with Cronenberg. He's not the Twilight guy anymore. I like
he's a good actor. He's done a lot of good stuff. Like, he really distanced himself from that. He did a lot of, there was a really great movie he was in. I think it was called Good Times. I like that one. That was the one where I was like, okay, he's no longer the Twilight guy.
Yeah, Good Time is really good. I actually think you could make a case for an Oscar for that one for him.
He was really good. Yeah.
Safdie brothers. I like that better than the Adam Sandler movie that's escaping my mind right now. Uncut Gems. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I've yet to see that one. I hear good things though.
It's good too.
Yeah, that is a good Sandler movie. Yeah.
Lauren, what were your thoughts on Nosferatu?
It's funny because like, it's right down my alley, right? It's classic, it's arty, it takes its time, so it's like, it's kind of perfect for me. And obviously Eggers is a director who hasn't failed me. Northman is my least favorite of his work. It has two things going against it, which is, the first is that really familiar revenge outline story, right? Dressed up with all the period accurate stuff, which is really great. And then Nicole Kidman seeming like she's in a different fucking movie because she can't act.
That was what ruined it for you, was Nicole Kidman.
She threw me out of that movie big, and it wasn't even my bias. It really wasn't. She has this weird fucking British accent in the middle of this Norse story. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And it's the rest of the crew didn't do that. The rest of that cast didn't do that. Like, if it was like this film, which is like, okay, it takes place in Germany, but everyone has a British accent.
Yeah, that was
okay.
weird.
But there's a long tradition of that in film, as long as everyone's on the same page.
Right.
She was the only one on that page. Okay. In fact, that was just a scribble in the margin that only she saw in the invisible ink. So she's pretty awful in it. She's awful in most things, but she's really awful in Northman, which is a damn shame because the rest of the movie is pretty solid. So anyway, going into Nosferatu, I'm the audience, but I was trying to temper my expectations for the same reason that when, for instance, Midsummer was coming out, I was afraid to see the film because I'm such a hardcore Hereditary fan, and I didn't want to think of anything lesser, right? But I steeled myself and I just went in and said, listen, it's Nosferatu on the big screen. And by the way, I hate the Herzog film. I like the original. I hate the Herzog film. I hate the Herzog film sequel even more.
Nosferatu in Venice?
Yes.
Oh my God, bro.
It's not. Yeah, I know. You also like everything Nick Cage is in, so whatever. It's so I mean, my track record on this is I wanted the 22 film. What I'll say is it did make my year's best of list. It's funny because it ended up in the same place on my list as Dan's list, although I think the rest of our list is different. So it's 6th on mine too. It's not perfect, but here's the thing: I love when horror is taken seriously in film, and it's for adults. This isn't a kids movie, and everything is a kids movie these days. Everything looks like a fucking Marvel movie.
Yeah.
This does not have any of that in it. It makes a few category mistakes along the way, which I think are kind of a symptom of the year it's made. But overall, it's pretty strong. I like that it was burdened with the original film's ending, which is the massive departure from the novel. And it decided to do something thematically with it to make it a satisfying ending. And that was cool. It felt a little slight to me. Like, I would have liked it to go big in its ridiculousness of the sex as a weapon, because that's what it's a reverse of the victimization. And also I would like to have seen them be able to tie in the secondary plague plot a little bit more directly into the climax of the film, which has never been done, to be fair, but Eggers is such a great director. I was hoping he would be the one to pull off the hat trick. I mean, to be fair, the Universal Dracula film, Lugosi film, like, doesn't even try. It shows rats at the beginning, and then it shows possums as rats in the beginning, and then ignores that entirely. So, I mean, is it a great film? Yes. Is it one of the least great films of all time? Yes. But you know what? It's 2024, it was 2024. That's a pretty good thing to be in 2024, because most of what comes out, we have to be very forgiving just to have fun with. And you hear that a lot among horror fans. It's like, hey, I had fun with it. And that's the bar now. I just look back to the 70s and something like, Dog Day Afternoon with Serpico or The Godfather 2. And you're like, those were fun movies. But those were movies that changed you. Nosferatu's not going to change you. The Witch changed me. So every once in a while it happens. Hereditary definitely changed me.
Ooh, yeah.
So you can still do it. Even on, to a lesser degree, Men, if we're going to talk A24, changed me as a film goer. This didn't. So it's not, I think Lighthouse is better than it. So that's where it falls on my list. It's solid third in his filmography.
Okay.
You do got to see Devil's Bath, Lauren, because that one.
Working on it. I have to have 7 minutes to either eat or sleep or something.
Devil's Bath, Red Rooms. Red Rooms is one of the more compelling movies I've seen in a long time.
Red Rooms was good. Yes. Red Rooms was good. Yes.
Mr. Maven, so my deal is this. I don't judge this based on the way I judge a Blumhouse film, right? That's not fair. It's kind of like if you've ever managed people, like, you don't manage your worst employee the same way you manage your best employee. You don't want to punish the good, but at some point you have to expect more. So overall, I would say everyone should watch it. It's not going to be for everyone. Some people are going to be disappointed by it. Some people are going to be bored by it. That's cool. But it's worth seeing because it's a real piece of horror art. I just don't want to portray it as like endlessly brilliant, because it's not.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, and it was announced just today that Eggers' next movie will be another. I think I heard two different. It's either going to be set in the 18th century or the 14th century, but it's called Werewolf. So he's going from vampire to werewolf.
Period piece horror is
that's his bread and butter. That's his bread. He said he never wants to make a contemporary movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I believe I did hear him say that in an interview. He said he had no interest, which I get it.
I was hoping he would do the new Scream movie. I would love to see.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ!
Do you think anybody can really? Again, no offense to the Scream fans, but do you think anybody can really just reinvent that at this point?
How can you offend the Scream fans when they're making movies to try and do that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like everybody wants all these dead characters brought back.
Why?
Because the appeal of Scream is not horror. They are not horror films. The first film, you can make a credible case for it.
Yeah.
These are cozy mysteries for horror fans. They want comfortable, and they want the same movie, and they're going to get it.
It's adult Scooby-Doo.
It is, at best. And it's like they're attached to these characters in a way that you should not be attached to characters in a horror film. If you're upset they might kill off your favorite character, you miss the point of the whole genre. You really do.
You just gotta have a dog piss on Stu's grave, brings him back to life. Everybody's gonna be happy.
See, you know what? If they would just go balls out, something really crazy with thing. This is the franchise that needs Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
Honestly, let
Yes.
him go crazy with this thing because I'd be fine with that.
Gale dropping the C bomb.
It
Oh my
cannot
God,
be
yeah.
worse. It cannot be worse than where they're going. So
I don't know if I don't think they can reinvent Scream. I think if my hope that they would reinvent Scream died with Scream 5. Like it's just going to be what it is. And I think this I don't know if this is true or not. There's all kinds of BS floating around out there about the new Scream movie, but according to some sort of casting note, there's a character in the script. He's only referred to as the letter K, and he escapes from a mental hospital or a psychiatric hospital or whatever. So, like, I wonder who that could be. You know what I mean? Like, really? Why don't you just? Why is it the initial S or ML or something? You know what I mean? Like, of course, everybody's saying that's Stu, but like, I don't. Just give him Stu.
Mhm.
At this point, just give him Stu.
don't
give
even
it to him.
explain it. Just he's there.
It just,
He
there.
just
It shows up.
Yeah, just give it to them. That's what they want. Give them what they want.
Because plausibility isn't really an issue with this franchise, right?
No.
At this
They'll
point,
do
it.
it.
at this point,
Mm.
Four Sharks and Jaws looks completely naturalistic to the world compared to like this many serial killers after the same fucking girl.
Isn't Joel McHale her husband?
Joe
in this?
McHale is her husband. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's Ghostface.
Well, I'm like, where's Patrick Dempsey? Like, what is he busy doing like Thanksgiving 3 already? Or like is he gonna have some kind of, are they keeping him quiet for some reason? I don't
know if they're
I don't know.
supposed to be the same person or what. I haven't paid close attention to it. If he's just recast or.
I think they're not supposed to be the same people. But again, there's all sorts of stuff floating around out there about Scream. Maybe 90% of it's probably just BS. Who knows?
Probably.
Yeah. So
I want to give you some props here and some credit because I'm going to jump back on Nosferatu. I've watched other people review that movie, and yeah, people are more trained than me. They're more, they know film. They've seen all these movies. But I want to say, I really thought yours was very honest. And that's, I know you love that filmmaker, so it's easy to get wrapped up in that. And you give it a bump because it's, something you're really interested in. And I thought that was really interesting. Like you didn't sugarcoat it or anything like that. You shot from the hip with that. So, and I'm not saying you destroyed it or anything like that, but I just want to say, I thought that was a very good review you did, very honest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Swaggy. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do want to mention one other movie that I saw recently that I think is really good, called Die Alone. And if you guys out there see Die Alone available anywhere to stream, you should definitely do it, because that was a really good movie.
If you like Last of Us, you'll enjoy Die Alone. It looks very generic. I mean, I think that's its problem. You just look at the cover and think, another zombie movie, but it is a gem.
Yes, definitely not just another zombie movie, for sure.
That's the key. Yeah, they add a little something to there, because I feel like that genre is so played out now. You got to hit me with something that it's like, okay, now you got me interested again. And that movie, it pulls it. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, let's move on.
Can I throw something at people?
Yeah, of course.
That they're absolutely not going to take, but they should. Went to the theater, saw Marco, which is an action film, not a horror film, except it goes more horrific than any horror film I've ever seen in my life. And it is the most violent film I've seen in a theater ever. The final act is unbelievably violent. you haven't seen anything like this film. Marco is it's Serbian film levels of problematic inside a big, robust action film in which there's no good guy character. You follow a guy who is literally just part of a crime family who's trying to get a revenge for the murder of his blind brother. And so you feel he's justified, but there's no good guys. Even the cops are not good guys. And I'm telling you, you are not ready for the level of depravity at the end of this movie.
That'll be on Netflix, right?
It is. Netflix is a streaming partner. I believe it's next week.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
Marco, I'll be checking it out.
Marco is amazing.
That kind of reminds me of a movie called Bull, which is a revenge movie with no good characters.
Yeah.
No good guys in that one, but great revenge movie. Bull. Just check it out. So good. Well, let's move on. As everybody knows, we recently lost David Lynch. But before we talk about David Lynch, we lost another director who I think deserves some props. And that was Jano Schwark, who directed Jaws 2, one of my all-time favorite sequels. I love Jaws 2 to death. He passed away, I think, just like a couple of days before David Lynch did. And so once David Lynch passed away, like his passing passed real quick. But he had a very long career. He directed a lot of movies, a lot of television. But Jaws 2, great freaking movie. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So props to Jano Schwark. I don't think he gets the recognition he deserves, but RIP to him for sure. And of course, David Lynch has left us, one of the most unique voices ever to make motion pictures. I mean, Mike, where do we even begin when you talk about the career of David Lynch? It's just such a rabbit hole. I don't know, does anybody remember their first David Lynch experience? Go ahead, Lauren, you're nodding.
I don't want to monopolize this though. Yeah, I mean, I saw Eraserhead in the theater as a midnight movie. I was 16 years old, and the movie already had a huge reputation, obviously. But talk about a movie that transports you into a dream world, and seeing it at midnight when you're already tired after a long day, it puts you exactly in the right mind space to go into David Lynch's head. I always view art as the idea that I want to put the thoughts in my head in your head. And some people do it through writing a song. Some people do it through painting a picture. Some people write a novel. But there's always that difficulty because language isn't enough and image isn't usually enough. David Lynch is one of those few guys that ever really, you get the sense that he absolutely was able to hit that subconscious level and just sync you up. And it didn't feel like mechanical or forced. It always felt like he was just gently taking you into his subconscious and letting you roam around in there, maybe stew inside it. It wasn't plot based, and it wasn't, again, all the the mechanical nature of drama didn't apply to him really, even when he wanted it to. There was something more, and that first viewing of Eraserhead was, I don't know, it feels very punk rock in the same way that Clockwork Orange feels punk rock, but they're very, very different films. And I think it's just because it's such a pure experience, and we're not used to pure experiences in films. You're used to commercial interests getting in somewhere in your art film. David Cronenberg is one of those guys that broaches the art film, right? But still, you can't look at even something like Videodrome and not see the commercial elements of a traditional, hero's journey, as screwed up as it is in that film. Lynch wasn't that. He was something different than that. Something more, more vital. I did want to show this because I'm proud. It's one of my proud things. This is the screenplay for Once Live a Bubble. David Lynch and Mark Frost's first collaboration, the thing that was never made. It is a fascinating read. You can see a lot of Twin Peaks in it, but you can also see a lot of all of his work. In a way, this screenplay became a lot of films, I feel like, including, unfortunately, Inland Empire, his only misstep. But this is always going to be the thing that haunts me. It's like, this is the thing we didn't get.
Mm.
So holding it in my hand is the only way you can enjoy it. It is available online. You can find it. I've owned this. You used to be able to, go to record shows, and there'd be one guy that sold like bootleg VHS tapes in the corner, and he'd have screenplays.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so I bought it back in the day. I probably bought that in like 92 or something.
Mm.
And, Lynch was very, very, very important to me.
Mm.
And someone else should talk.
Dan, tell us what was your first encounter with David Lynch?
So technically, I was very young, so I'd have to say the first was probably Dune, but the first that really made me think of, David Lynch as a director was also Eraserhead, and it was I want to say it was the first film, or one of the very first films that I watched where I realized like movies didn't have to be conventional. As young as I was like, this is weird. When I first saw it, obviously it makes no sense at all, but I was still intrigued, kind of the same way I felt when I first saw Videodrome, which everybody knows that's a big one for me. Didn't understand it, but I knew I was watching something mysterious and wonderful. And Eraserhead definitely did that for me. It showed me a world of bizarre, unique, wonderful cinema that I didn't necessarily know existed at the time. Because you're young, you watch Batman, you watch the conventional superhero good versus evil type stuff, and David Lynch, one of a kind. His movies aren't for everybody, for sure, much like Nosferatu we were talking earlier. I know a lot of people that will never get into Twin Peaks, but I agree. I think he only made one truly bad movie, and anything you check out, whether it's Lost Highway, Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, which is a contender for me for my favorite Lynch movie.
Mulholland Drive is a masterpiece of cinema, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my
Mulholland
favorite
Drive
of
might be
his.
my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that thing doesn't exist as it was intended,
Yeah.
it was created for it as a television pilot.
Yeah.
And then
pilot.
shot around to make the film we got. That's a specific kind of artist that can do something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first experience with him, and then that led into everything. I'd heard of Twin Peaks. It was a little bit before I was interested in TV, but then that opened up that. I eventually saw Eraserhead. I ended up buying that. I mean, that was those movies. They had me going on the internet and looking up what this stuff meant. I was like, this is amazing. This guy it was next level, and
Yeah, it was intriguing enough for you to look into it, even if you didn't necessarily get it right away. It was interesting. It captured your imagination, and I mean, again, imagine. I didn't have the pleasure of watching like when Twin Peaks debuted. I watched it a little bit later. Look at what was on TV at that time and how different Twin Peaks was. There wasn't 50 Twin Peaks out there in the early 90s. It's really quite amazing that got the green light back then, because people didn't take those kinds of risks on television.
There's a moment at the end of the pilot episode of Twin Peaks, which is 2 hours long, where the sheriff, played by Michael Nantaken, goes to visit his girlfriend, and they're standing outside their house, and they're just having a moment, and there's very little dialogue. There's very little but mood and atmosphere, and then he says, "It must have happened around this time last night," and we get this really, really palpable moment of just kind of dread and sadness. And very little is on screen to make you feel that way, but everyone feels it. That was made for television at a time when Cheers was on the air, when Married with Children was still first run.
Mm.
I'm sorry. When I heard that David Lynch was making a television series, I ignored it. I said, this is a waste of that man's talent. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to watch it. Instead, I was watching the Dark Shadows, the new Dark Shadows, which was on as counter programming against it. And then when we got to, because the first season is a truncated season, when it got to the summer, the reruns, I caught up on it, and I was like really appalled at myself that I didn't give it the chance because I loved it. It's really important to me. But nothing was on television like that. But Lynch, hell, his fragrance commercials are brilliant. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a man who made a lot of even when he decided, when the internet was exploding, and he realized he could go right to his fan base with short films. Watch Rabbits. Rabbits is disturbing stuff. He's also a guy who, while he never made a horror film in his life, never didn't make a horror movie in his life either. Mm-hmm. So
that brings back so many memories, Lauren, because I was watching the
Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows, because I was like, it's vampires. It's right up my alley. Barnabas Collins, yeah.
And Barbara Steele.
Of course. Yeah. And I somehow stumbled upon Twin Peaks. And I just remember, I can vividly remember watching it that first time. Don't remember what it was, but it was just so weird and so creepy. Like, it creeped me out. Like, I'd been watching a vampire show and had been completely fine with that, but I somehow ended up on Twin Peaks, and now I'm creeped out. So that was my intro to David Lynch.
That episode that reveals who Bob is too strong for television even today. It really is. When you think of the concepts underlying that idea, I don't know that anyone's brave enough to do it today. It was done in 92.
I hate to jump ahead, and Chris, I'm going to get to you in a second.
Okay.
What about Fire Walk with Me? A lot of people were disappointed with Fire Walk with Me.
I think that was
like
underrated.
it. I like it. I personally like Fire Walk with Me, but a lot of people who are big Twin Peakers, they're not. You know, it's sort of looked at as like a miss.
I think that has evolved over time, though. People didn't get what they wanted at the time, but of course you didn't from Lynch. What were you really thinking, right? Mm. It's a very different. Even season 3 is very different than what people walking through the door thought they wanted. But that's what Twin Peaks is. I mean, Twin Peaks is a meta narrative about the influence of media on a healthy society. And as it progresses, as the series and then the movie and the new show, which isn't that new anymore, but it shows you what the influence of media does to a healthy society and makes it very unhealthy. Naturally, it's going to evolve and change if that's what your meta narrative is, right? So when you got to that movie, the first thing you see in the film is a sledgehammer being thrown into a television set. Mm. He meant that. He said, we're done with that. We no more. All the nice, cozy stuff, the soap opera stuff from the television series, nope. You're not getting that. And then he suckers you in with okay, we're going to give you some David Bowie and some and some just wild stuff in the beginning that is kind of fun and kooky. And then we're going to get into the incest drama that's going to really break your heart. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was strong stuff for people who just watched the television series that as great as it was and as innovative as it was, it still felt like a narrative that we could wrap our heads around. Even when it got weird, even when it got to a possession plot, even when it got to Owl Cave, even when it got to Wyndham Earl and the chess game. But the movie was darker than that.
Yeah.
Much darker. Does anyone... It's so funny, too, because he was so forward-thinking about it. He doesn't tell you why sadness and despair is represented by cream of corn in the movie, but it's a television commercial for cream of corn. He's criticizing the television format, the media format. It's so brilliant and so absolutely atmospheric that you don't even notice that he's kind of giving you a message. You don't notice because it's just too strong. I love Fire Walk with Me, and season 3. I think season 3 could have lost a few hours and been just as strong, but I kind of love the fact that there's more to it now because we'll never get more of anything, and it's turned out to be the last thing.
Yeah. Chris, do you remember your introduction to David Lynch?
So for me, it was probably like I saw, I think, an episode or 2 of Twin Peaks on TV. It didn't really pull me in at the time. I remember seeing Mulholland Drive in my 20s, and I really liked that movie. It was good. And maybe I realized I didn't know anything about the Black Dahlia murders before that. I was like, oh, this is really interesting. Kind of looked more into that and things like that. But I recently actually saw Elephant Man for the first time last week, and I really enjoyed that one. Not his usual kind of like super kind of weird stuff, but it made me appreciate like his other weird stuff because it's not weird for being weird. It's just like a shade outside of normal most of the time. So it's that uncanny valley of everything, it feels like. Which is why I think everybody kind of appreciates it. And it's so interesting, like seeing how much Twin Peaks appears in other media all the time. Whether it be like, kids' cartoons or video games or other movies or whatever. There's always some kind of small reference to either the Red Room or a damn good cherry pie or like whatever. Like it's just so influential.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you mentioned his. It's hard to even like his straight work. The not like weird stuff, but like The Elephant Man is a great movie produced by
Mel Brooks.
Oh, Mel Brooks of all people.
Yeah,
Mel Brooks.
He saw Eraserhead and said, "I need to work with this guy."
Yeah, exactly. And The Straight Story. God, I love The Straight Story. Such a good. Like when I remember hearing, I don't remember where I heard it, but I was like, David Lynch is doing a Disney movie. Like that's got to be a joke, right? Like, it's David. Go ahead.
The Straight Story is the Straight Story is brilliant because it is a story about what love really means. It's the most pure love story you'll ever meet, but it's not a love story as a romantic love story. He's talking about love in a broader sense. And it's the most amazing travelogue of a man doing what he can at a stage in his life for a friend he loves. No one else could have done the story. It might not be something you can rewatch a ton, but no one else could have made that film.
Yeah. And Ghost brings up Angelo Badalamenti, who scored like all of Lynch's stuff. Like his stuff was so
from Blue Velvet on
perfect. Yeah, just perfect.
Have any of y'all seen Wild at Heart?
Oh yeah.
I've never seen that, but I've heard that that's really good.
It's wild. It's definitely wild. It lives up to that.
It's my least favorite Lynch film, but I like it a lot.
Inland Empire.
Oh well, I'm not. That's not a film.
Yeah, well,
Inland Empire is no.
Wild at Heart does not get talked about very much.
He used to.
But it's not it's not up there among my favorite movies of his, but I still like it. It's definitely wild. Willem Dafoe in that one steals the show. He's so, and that's with Nicolas Cage being very Nicolas Cage. Like Willem Dafoe is just who steals that movie.
Only Dafoe can out Cage.
Exactly.
It's Nicolas Cage in a wild performance, but it's like in an environment where that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing about Lynch that I always thought was amazing is that people, even when they slag on him, kind of give him a backhanded compliment. When Dune came out and it was hated as being weird, right? For years it was, that's too weird. That's too. Why then has every version of Dune made sense? Look like his version. including the new ones. You can't escape it. You can't escape the vision. It's too ingrained immediately.
And David Lynch hated that movie. Hated it.
He hated that they told him he couldn't do 2 hours worth of film he had plotted.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dino. That was a great move. Make it one movie.
But Dino
Too
let him
bad.
do Blue Velvet how he wanted to do Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet is a miracle of a movie. It's a film that's so strong that it rebranded Dennis Hopper for the rest of his career, and it launched Kyle MacLachlan. It's the kind of film that, you know, Brad Dourif is relegated to a side role, a very side role, because frankly they don't need to stand on him. Dennis Hopper's performance in that film may be one of the best examinations of the human side of evil possible. If you let your id go just wherever it wanted to go with no boundaries, you'd be Frank Booth.
Yeah.
And that's
I saw
amazing.
an old interview with Dennis Hopper, and David Lynch wanted what he was inhaling to be helium, so he wanted him to have like a high pitched voice, and Hopper was like, "Well, I mean, do what you want to do, like in post or whatever. You can ADR it or whatever, but like, what if it's like nitrous, or what if it's like he mentioned something else?" And David Lynch was like, "Well, I don't know what those drugs are," and Hopper was like, "Just trust me."
I've
So
done
he
them
changed
all.
it. Yeah, so he changed it from helium to like nitrous or whatever he's huffing on in that movie. But yeah, that's just yeah. God, Blue Velvet's just so good. That was, I think, I'm trying to think of the direction or the when I saw Blue Velvet, because I know I'd already seen Lost Highway, because Lost Highway, they used to play that thing constantly on like Cinemax and HBO, constantly. And I love freaking Lost Highway. Somebody asked a little while ago, favorite Lost Highway moment. Oh, here we go. There's so many. I mean, of course, the one that sticks out is when the mystery man has Bill Pullman call him. I'm at your house now. Call me. You know what I mean?
Great example of the uncanny, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's scary on a flesh level. Like, you react.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great. That happens in Mulholland Drive in the scene behind the diner with the homeless. And that's so brilliant. Like Lynch telling you what he's about to show you explicitly, and then does it, and it works anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's so many good scenes in Lost Highway, and if I recall correctly, like there's a long spell of Lost Highway where there's just like no dialogue. It's just kind of like people walking around, walking in and out of rooms, and there's just so much tension though. But yeah, Patricia Arquette, Bill Pullman. What's the guy's name? I can't think. Giovanni Ribisi. Is that it? Yeah, that's him. Yeah. Good cast. Yeah.
Even Henry Rollins in a bit role.
Yes, Henry Rollins. Yep. You've got like the music of Marilyn Manson and Rammstein in there, and Marilyn Manson's in the movie actually. Yeah. Wild stuff. The only, and we mentioned it earlier, the only Lynch movie I couldn't even finish was Inland Empire. Like I can appreciate what he was trying to do there, but like I got to the hour and 20 something minute mark and I checked and there was another hour left and I was like, no, I'm sorry.
To have a career that's went as long as Lynch's did, though, I mean, it's not a lot of misses.
No.
You know, I mean, that's a hell of a record, much like Cronenberg. You know, not that the movies are for everybody, but they didn't make bad movies. And how many directors that we love can we really say that about over an entire body of work? I mean, I think it's quite amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Even the kind of forgotten Lynch stuff like Hotel Room and On the Air. One was made for cable, the other one was made for network television. Yes, he made a sitcom.
Yeah.
And the pilot episode is great. Now everything after that is not On the Air, but the pilot episode is pretty phenomenal. And it's a straight sitcom. There's no subversiveness about it. He was just one of those guys that you could trust. kind of what we were talking about before about like trusting Eggers is there's not a lot of trust in the air these days in cinema. Lynch, kind of like Coppola back in the day, or early Spielberg, you could trust that what they were going to come out was going to hit. Today, it feels like very few of those artists exist, and those who we used to trust seem to have betrayed our perfect batting averages too often. Mm-hmm. I don't need another Ready Player One to convince me that I don't need to necessarily see everything Spielberg puts out. Mm-hmm. But Lynch never had that moment where he lost our trust. That's how I feel anyway. But again, he's kind of the perfect director for me, in the same way that Kubrick was kind of a perfect director.
He was also an artist. He painted. His art was incredible. I saw a documentary about him one time, and he had this piece of art, and he took it outside and he laid it on the ground, and he went, and he went and got some raw meat and put it like right in the middle of the painting because he wanted ants to come and he wanted like the painting to be alive. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I was just like, wow, okay, dude. So, but yeah, he had raw meat on his painting with ants everywhere. So I remember another quote. He said, he ate the same thing every day. He had such a routine and a schedule, and he liked it that way because he didn't have to think about those things. He could think about other things. He could think about stories he wanted to tell, things he wanted to do, so the little mundane things, those were done. Now he can think bigger, so
I mean, they came up with a term for like his style, that's unbelievable, mm-hmm. Maybe style is not the right word, but
maybe by the time he got too sick to do his weather reports, maybe Hollywood did need to burn.
But one thing is for sure, I mean, there'll never be another David Lynch. So, but he left us so much great work, and that we can celebrate.
And most of it's on the Criterion label, so you can pick it all up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Anybody, anything else you guys want to add about Lynch before we move on?
Just I envy anybody that maybe heard about The Deaf and is just diving into his filmography, because I know there's a lot of you out there. To be able to experience it for the first time is going to be a lot of fun for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, for sure. Well, let's move on here and let's talk about. I saw saw an article about streaming services last year. Streaming services, Americans spent 23% less on streaming services last year. However, Netflix, despite having record sub growth last year, they're raising their prices. They're still increasing their prices this year. Why do you guys think that people are spending less on streaming?
Video games. I don't know that I have a good answer. I think that might factor into it somewhat for younger people. It's kind of getting to the point that I mean, Netflix in particular feels like I kind of have to have it as a wrestling fan because things are going over there, so they've kind of got me by the balls. But it doesn't feel like it should be, because the masses aren't buying physical media or anything like that. So,
yeah, that's a good point. I think there's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of other things to draw your attention away from it.
Yeah, video games is the best answer that I have.
I mean, if I was younger and I was video games were coming, you couldn't pull me away from the video game. I understand why kids don't go outside and play. Look how cool that stuff is. You always have someone to play with now,
Yeah, no, there's no really beating a game anymore. I mean, some of these, and I know I have no authority to talk about it. I haven't played games since N64 era. But yeah, no, there. I know some people that they don't watch movies, they barely watch TV shows. They're just gamers through and through. I don't know.
A good game, man, that'll consume your life.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I've stayed away.
You'll eat while you're playing the game. You know?
Yeah.
Well, and there's so many games now that are like they're story-based games where depending on your actions within the game, it can change the course of where the game is going. It's not just a game that you play and you beat it and like, oh, well, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's a game that can have many different outcomes. So that's kind of like a movie that you're interacting directly with. And it seems like there's more of those games coming out. So I mean that's kind of a popular thing. But also I mean there's just there's so many streaming platforms. Like and maybe it's just something maybe it's the economy. Maybe people just don't have the money for Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Peacock.
I think it's just a natural order of things. So when cable first came into people's houses, right? They super excited. They bought the biggest package and maybe a few premium channels. And over time, they realized there's only so many hours you're watching television in a day. You don't need all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think streaming was fresh 6, 7, 8 years ago. We probably all subscribed to way too many services that we were getting used as. And we all probably pared down to what we actually use. And I think that's probably what's going on. By the same rate, the licensing model for new releases and new content has gotten more competitive among the big guys for the premium stuff. As a result, it's more expensive for them, so the prices are going up to accommodate that. I think it's just kind of the normal business. I don't think people are watching less. I think that people are not terribly adventurous, and they never have been. Mm. But that means that The Office probably commands a pretty high price tag. That means the Disney classic animated features are only going to get more expensive, even as the new Disney stuff gets less expensive, right? Vastly so.
Hmm.
The horror genre is probably the least affected because it's always been assumed that there is no premium involved there. That's probably incorrect, but it's if you wanted to license the Halloween sequels or the Friday the 13th films or The Shining, they're not terribly expensive compared to other things. And that's always going to kind of keep horror accessible on multiple platforms. And that's good for us. It's probably bad for the companies, though, because they can't exploit the genre the way they can other genres. Like, if Marvel ever decided that they want to take their Disney Plus content and move it to Netflix for half a year, that price tag would be astronomical to do that. Mm-hmm. And to the point where I don't even know if it could possibly be worth it for Netflix or Hulu or, well, not Hulu is Disney, but you know what I'm saying? It would be astronomical to try and pay that price tag, and they'd have to pass it on to the consumers. But for myself, I don't even know. I mean, I know I do have subscriptions. Besides Shudder, I don't even know what I have because I don't really watch television. I think people are just getting to what they need finally, not what they can have.
Mm-hmm. Do you think like Tubi? I mean, Tubi's free, and the big streamers have included their own sort of their lower priced packages, but you get some ads thrown in there. So, I mean, I think that could have something to do with it too.
Well, see, that's the stuff you don't have to give away, right? You don't have to stop subscribing to it because it doesn't cost you anything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that definitely helps to bolster the idea that I don't have to pay for 7 streaming services and pay more than I would for cable anyway. Mm-hmm. A lot of people cut the cord not because they wanted the options, but because it was cheaper than what they were getting for their entertainment. Mm-hmm. A lot of people aren't like us. A lot of people never watch a movie again.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, my opinion is I think Lauren is hitting the nail on the head. It's cable. So it's a bit of like streaming all these different services. It's cable with extra steps. So everybody is not going out buying all the streaming services because they're watching what they want to watch. that also includes this here, YouTube. YouTube is getting way more hours and views, increasing over time compared to other streaming services because it's free. You can pay for premium if you want to avoid commercials, but most people kind of avoid commercials anyway with either ad blockers or what other stuff they have. And so it's a bit of everything. So it's the economy, it's people choosing what they want to watch, and it's just people tired of having to buy extra things when they want to watch one thing. Not everybody is like us being horror fans. Horror fans are used to going variety of places to try and find something. Whereas like, okay, I have to watch this VHS tape here for this one movie, but the sequel's on DVD over here. So you're used to trying to go around for everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, and like the exclusive stuff of like, you know, if you want to watch this show, Lauren mentioned The Office. Well, you got to subscribe. Even if that's the only thing you watch, you got to subscribe. You know, so you're subscribed to this service for this one thing. Like I subscribed to Hulu just to watch that last Hellraiser movie. Then I forgot. And I was subscribed to Hulu for a few months. Exactly. And then I was like, wait a minute, let me watch Hellraiser one more time, and then I'm going to cancel this, which I did. So I think that's probably a lot of people too. They just sign up and they just forget.
Oh, exactly. Everybody signs up for Netflix. Like, oh, Stranger Things is out. Sign up for a month. Get rid of it.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of, honestly, it brought a little smile to my face, and I was like, okay, streaming's making less money. But then I saw the article where it's like, but Netflix is increasing their prices irregardless.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, Dan, you mentioned they've got WWE now, so that's probably where but they had record sub growth last year in the fourth quarter, but they're still raising. They got WWE now, so.
And they're doing a really good job with the boxing events that they put on there, that Tyson fight.
Yeah.
The NFL now has a couple of games. What was it? I got to figure out. Maybe it was Christmas or something like that. They had exclusive NFL games that were on there.
Live sports is cable's about done.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of views that they have are just blowing them away. I mean,
yeah, that's very smart of them to move away from just movies and television shows and bringing in the live sports, bringing in WWE. Somebody mentioned, I bet they'll get UFC next. I would not be surprised.
Oh no, not surprised at all.
What if they end up getting the Super Bowl? Or you know what I mean?
It won't be long. I mean that won't be long before you see that.
I mean, most people stream the Super Bowl anyway on whatever channel streaming service.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah.
I don't.
I said most, not all.
I do want to, I do want to chastise the LA fans for booing Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that was
listen.
He wasn't used to that.
Listen.
That's why he burned down their town.
Oh my God.
There are a lot of memes. That's what happens when you boo the Hulkster, brother.
Look, I in my opinion, Hulk Hogan's never told a lie. And if you think he is, if I believe every word he ever said, and if you don't, you are not a real American, and you are not a Hulkamaniac. Period.
I just want to point out that I am not a Hulkamaniac.
You should be, Lauren.
No.
So you're more of a Macho Man fan, right? Randy Savage. Your silence speaks volumes.
Has Lauren ever liked Metallica? I mean, Hulk Hogan was almost the basis for Metallica.
Almost the basis for Metallica. I know.
Lauren liked the heels.
Yeah, the Iron Sheik and Mr. Perfect.
Saying my prayers and taking my vitamins. It was
Nikita Koloff.
Papa Shango.
Do you guys seriously hear yourself?
So listen, say your prayers, take your vitamins. What was the other
Stay in school.
Stay in school.
I did none of that.
I remember say your prayers and take your vitamins. I do remember that.
I think it was train, say your prayers, and take your vitamins.
It's a real American.
Those were the big three. That's it. Oh man, jeez, the Hulkster. It's a whole new world. I mean, the world's really gone to hell when you're booing the Hulkster.
I felt bad for Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Hart. You can tell Jimmy Hart was waving that big flag around, and like he was just like, I'm surprised he didn't just like try to pull Hulk off stage. Like, come on, man, get your beer and get out of here. Like
he needs to reform the NWO with Logan Paul and some of
this would be the perfect time to reintroduce Hollywood Hogan.
Yes,
perfect time.
2.0.
Needs to do a run in, help Tessa Blanchard win the Royal Rumble, and it's just gonna be.
I don't know if he can run anymore, but you know he'll hobble down there and help her.
He'll hobble.
Oh my gosh! Anybody had any real American beer yet?
God no.
I'm not a beer guy, so I'll probably buy one just to shove it on my shelf at some point. But yeah, not a beer guy.
Hopefully, they'll have some real American beer at Full Moon this year.
If I can find it, I will bring some real American beer to Full Moons for everybody to enjoy.
I've had the Stone Cold beer. That one's okay, but
the IPA.
Yeah. Well, here's two. There's an IPA and a Pilsner, I think.
Yeah, everybody's got a beer right now, it seems like.
Yeah, flood of the market.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
That reminds me, Dan, are you going to Day of the Dead in February?
Probably not, because Full Moon is April, so I don't think so. If I do, I'll let you know, though. Definitely meet up.
I looked at their roster. They have like 5 people from Terrifier.
But yeah, Full Moon's got a Terrifier reunion going. I'm really excited for Lisa Schrage from Prom Night 2.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen her before, so
yeah, I'd like to meet her.
Eager to meet her.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean the Terrifier people. I mean that's the new Walking Dead when it comes to these shows, man. They're just at every show.
I looked that up. It is at the same place. That hotel
downtown. Yeah.
I don't think you had a great experience with that.
I didn't have a great experience with the parking situation. Yeah, the parking garage was scarier than any horror movie I think I've ever seen.
Yeah,
that was pretty scary.
I kind of like the setup for Full Moon a lot. I'm over the giant conventions now.
Yeah,
like if I'm gonna go, I want to be able to socialize with people and hang out and not just be elbow to elbow in a pit of lines anymore.
Yeah. Lauren, any chance of you coming down to Full Moon in is it April? It's April, right?
Easter weekend. Yeah.
Easter weekend. Any chance?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't. I think I would have had to start planning by now, and I had a really rough fall, so into early winter. So I really haven't been planning like life, let alone conventions. I'll let you know if that changes, though. I mean, I really haven't even investigated what's going on in any of these things.
I'll send you some links. It's the hotel is very nice. That's what sells it for me.
The hotel's very nice. There's lots of places. It's just a perfect location. They got a great restaurant in there, plenty of places to hang out, lots of cool stuff to do around the place, restaurants and this and that and the other. So it's, even if you don't even want to go to the convention part of it, there's just lots of cool stuff to do around and to hang out and stuff. So
I think
drink purple chongos and
purple chongos. Now I'm not a drinker. That stuff tasted good. So there will be purple chongos for anybody that wants one.
What city is this held in? Nashville?
This is Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah. You and Sam should come up.
We'll try. The problem is my work, our year end is in April. So it's typically like too busy. But we'll try. Because that's kind of one of our goals is to try to meet everybody in person.
Yeah.
So I can make everybody else feel short. Like, hey.
It'll be a good time, man. It'll be a good time. So, All right, let's move on from Netflix and streaming services on the decline, yet raising prices anyway. Well, Netflix definitely is not on the decline. They're still living it up. So good for them. Let's talk about a movement that I want to begin. It's the MMGA. Wait a minute. No, it's the.
No, you're right.
MMTGA.
Yes, it's the MMTGA.
Okay.
I left the T out. The MMTGA movement. Make movie theaters great again. Now, Lauren put out a video not long ago, and I did a video response to his video. The titles of both our videos were fairly simple. Just dear, like, hey, major movie theater chains, be better, do better. Do you want to go over? Do you want to? What was your mission statement in that video, Lauren?
Well, really, it was just to start treating the fans who are actually paying a price to come to your theater, show us some respect. It's really just grotesque to ask people to pay a ticket price, which is no longer a cheap ticket price. When I grew up, tickets were $7 to a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a kid, you could come up with that and every weekend go see a movie. And I pretty much did. If I wasn't going to see like a live rock band, I was seeing a movie.
Yeah.
But they took that away from us and made us pay more, which is inevitable. But then like to give us a showtime, a start time that is inaccurate because you're going to be watching commercials for a half hour. That's really, really a step too far for me. And I'm one of those guys, as you are, Piz, because our videos are actually pretty similar, and I'm actually grateful that they're similar because it's I think it's something that needs to be said, and needs to be said a lot by a lot of people. When we pay that price, it's not so that you can just like inundate us with advertising. It was to see a movie and get on with our life afterwards. I'm sorry if I'm going to watch more commercials in a theater than I would at home to watch the same entertainment, then you're kind of losing me about why I bought a ticket. It's one of these streaming services that we just talked about. The whole month will cost what one ticket costs. So, like, I want theaters to survive. I love the movie theater experience. Like earlier, I asked you about Jeremy's take on theaters because I think I'm a lot like him. Like, I get almost drunk walking into a movie theater because I love it so much. But you know what I don't love? 2 car commercials, 2 soft drink commercials, 7 insurance commercials, 3 commercials for the theater itself, which you're already sitting in. So you're already down. I don't know what they're selling you at that point. Then Nicole Kidman shows up on screen to really just destroy my soul, walks up a flight of stairs, mumbling some nonsense about how special she is.
Heartbreak feels good in a place like
we should definitely go pay money to watch this bitch in clothes that cost more than my car. It's just all insulting. It's bewildering that they think we're just going to keep going. I'm telling you, this generation that don't even want to go to the movies. So they should be like worshiping the ground we stand on. They should be asking us, what can we do to make you come more often? But the opposite is true. They're like, nope. Maybe you're in the market to buy a minivan. And hey, you don't see this progressive commercial enough at home. Why don't you see it here? I've seen the same M&M launch of the rocket ad for
10
like
years
10 years.
Yeah.
I don't even see it. I don't watch television, but I don't even think it is on television anymore. It's just, if you miss it so much, go watch a movie because you're definitely going to see it.
Yeah.
I hate it. And it's making me not want to go, and that's something I never felt. I've always just loved the theater.
Let me do a quick shout out here. Thank you, Dominic, for the $5. Piz, just for you mentioning and supporting the Hulkster brother. Right on, brother. Right on, brother. Thank you. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, I don't remember when I first started seeing television commercials popping up at the movies, but I'm sure it was not I was not happy about it. But now, in like I said in that video, I like to get to the theater early. I want to use the bathroom. I want to get my concessions. I want to find my seat. I want to get comfortable. I even want to finish my snack before the movie starts, because I don't want to be that guy crunching in the middle of the movie. And I don't mind if other people are doing it, but like I don't want to be that guy thinking that like I'm the person next to me or behind me can't enjoy the movie because I'm crunching on nachos or popcorn or whatever. But and like in the case of the Wolfman, 10 minutes after the start time, we were still watching the local commercials for the local attorneys and the local car dealerships before we got into the main stuff, before the lights went down. We're already 10 minutes late. So by the time we get to, here's the trailers, here's, like Lauren said, here's the car commercial. Well, you want the car, you gotta have insurance. Here's the reminder that there's concessions out in the hall, even though you're eating your concessions now. Here's this commercial, that commercial, 2 more trailers, another commercial, a trailer, commercial. Like it was 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to God, I've sat for longer than that with these things going on. And I used to love trailers, but like trailers today suck. I can't stand the trailers anymore. But like when you're throwing the Geico ad at me, when you're throwing the what's the one with the guy he was in one of the Hellraiser movies. He's like he's crashing into stuff all the time. You got that insurance commercial. It aggravates me. Like, and by the time the movie starts, I'm like exhausted. I'm ready to go home. And you're just starting the movie now. I can't stand that they do that. I understand they get paid to do that. I understand that it helps keep the theater alive. But good Lord, just charge me $2 more and cut half of those commercials out. I'll gladly pay you a couple of more dollars. Spare me from the commercials, please. And let's get on with the movie. I got stuff to do. You know what I mean?
But I was gonna say, for me though, like in my movie going experience though, like I remember there was one time I timed the commercials because it was so bad. I had went on opening weekend to go see Maxine. It was an hour and 15 minutes of commercials and trailers from the start time before the movie actually started.
Jesus
and
Christ.
It's because we went during prime time to see it. Me and Sam mainly go to matinee features, like or early morning shows on weekends, kind of stuff like that. There's way less commercials at those times. You're already paying a premium ticket price, and they get even extra commercials. It's bullshit. That's why when I try to go to Alamo Draft House because they have. It's just mainly the commercials are for like other Draft House like features. That's it. And so if they can do it and become as popular as they are and continue to make as much money as they are doing, why can't everybody else do it? Like, what is it that Draft House is doing that they can't do? Is it just because of the food? All right, great. Everybody else start serving food. That's fine. I'd rather pay an extra $20 for food to enjoy the movie experience and not waste an extra hour of commercial time making me not enjoy the movie.
Yeah. Bring back shorts, cartoons, something, I'm sure there's an incredible amount of horror shorts out there that basically nobody ever sees. You're going in to see The Damned, throw a horror short on there, make it, you don't have to show up early if you don't care, but have that rather than the same Maria Menounos trivia.
Oh my God.
I have nothing.
They don't even change it.
No, they don't. They don't change it.
Yeah.
And the trivia is so like, it's horrible trivia, or it'll be like some interview. So what was it like to work with so-and-so? They're great. Oh God, come on, man. I'm not here for that. You know what I mean?
Piz, you mentioned trailers, and now we're just so exposed to that so early now. There's trailer breakdowns. There's a teaser trailer. I don't watch trailers anymore, but all of y'all remember at one time that was a big deal. You would see a trailer and you'd be like, I had no idea this movie was even cut. This is unbelievable. And now you're just kind of like, okay, I've known about this one now for a while now. I don't watch trailers because I like to be surprised, but I know that's definitely hurt that aspect of it now too.
Or it's like one of those trailers you got to be like, oh, well, you're like covering your eyes because you know it's going to give away too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I used to get as excited about the trailers as I was about the movie because I wanted to see what was coming up and like be surprised by, oh God, it's the new Wes
They're
Craven
making a
movie.
sequel. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
Or it's also like the trailer that's overplayed. I can't tell you how many times I saw Speak No Evil, the fucking that trailer last year.
Oh Jesus God!
I hated the movie without even seeing it because the trailer was everywhere.
Yeah, that trailer
that's
was
true.
everywhere. Yes.
And
that was one too, whereas like I don't think I need to see the movie. Like I saw the trailer.
It gives you everything. I think the real solution is we need Hulk Hogan to replace Nicole Kidman.
That's not the answer. You know, it would be better, but it's not the answer. No, you know, it's funny. I did 13 years managing record stores at the beginning of my career. And that is an industry that didn't listen to its consumer. The consumers were screaming at the top of their lungs. If something came out like the Baja Men Who Did Let the Dogs Out, okay? What they'd do is they'd have a cassette single available for about 2 weeks, and then they'd cut it out. It was no longer made. It would disappear off the market because as it sold out. Then if you wanted to own that song, God help you, then you had to buy the CD, which if you were lucky was on sale and was $15. But most likely you were going to pay closer to $20 after taxes. And consumers screamed. They said, no. And the industry said, well, what are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
And then a thing happened called Napster.
Yeah.
People weren't downloading. The initial impression of Napster wasn't, I want to have the huge terabyte of everything that was ever been recorded in the 70s. That was not what people were. They wanted just to be able to get the new pop single that was really popular, that no longer had a single available, but wasn't worth $17 to them. And still the industry just ignored them. I feel like movie theaters are doing the same thing right now. They think of this as surface noise. Okay, they don't like the ads, but what are they going to do? Not come to see the Avengers? Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's 30 days between the theatrical window and streaming, and that's contracted. They can't move it. Yeah. The average person is not going to take being insulted very well.
No. The most common things most common comments I read, well, not the most common, but I see these comments a lot. It's either the movie theater's too expensive or I'm just going to wait for streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And those two things are really hurting the theaters. But where the theaters could improve, like, Lauren, you had a brilliant idea. And let me ask you guys, when was the last time you ever saw anybody in the arcade section of a movie theater? Because I was trying to think when.
Decades.
I don't recall seeing anybody in the arcade section. Those machines are just sitting there eating up power.
They're all Terminator Salvation machines. How risky can it be?
Terminator Salvation, Time Crisis 4, some skill crane game.
Claw machine that's broken.
Yeah,
there's an alien shooter too. Exactly. You got the quick shot basketball. And that's it. Nobody's there. The theaters are losing money powering those things than what they're bringing in. You know what I mean? Get rid of that crap. Put in merch. Put in shirts, posters, collectible figures, those popcorn buckets that people will go and buy off eBay for $120. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. No, that I don't understand why it's not a thing yet. I mean, like you said, posters, stuff that's not even expensive to produce, make some deals with the studios to get some stuff in there. I mean, Funko Pops, kids collect those. You could make so much money.
A lot of wasted space.
Jeremy would clean me out in one of those things, man.
And people still do go. Look at Wicked. Like, not exactly a movie for us, but Wicked had my theaters around here packed.
What if Wicked had T-shirts available in the lobby?
Exactly.
Oh, it would be huge. I mean, they would have sold
What-
them out the first show.
I mean, we it might not be our thing, but again, there's a Superman film coming out this year.
Mhm.
Superman T-shirts in
Yeah.
kid sizes.
Mhm.
That has to be something that could help offset all the cost of losing the ads. It's so short-sighted.
Well, it's like, I was going to say is, sorry to cut you off there, but I was going to say it's had a good idea. It's kind of like concerts. The fucking merch table. You have the merch table with all the different bands that are there today, have all the different movies in the theater, have the different posters, the soundtrack, whatever. It's a little small table there you can kind of purchase from. It doesn't require any power, doesn't require anything extra. I'm just going to bring in so much money.
Yeah, you got the people coming to you.
Exactly.
You just got to show up with the stuff.
It's the best possible. You have the best possible marketing done because the people who show up are willing to spend money on this stuff.
Mhm.
They love it. Otherwise, they'd wait for streaming. So the people who are in your building are the prime audience. Listen, Scream ain't my thing, but when that Scream film comes out next year, you could put Scream merchandise all over there. Those people are buying that shit, especially if it is exclusive in theater and never going to be made again.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
The cinema exclusive Funko Scream, the ring, Ghostface pumpkin or Ghostface popcorn pail. I mean, yeah, those things would sell out. And
all of it.
I had a guy telling me I believe the Alien Romulus popcorn bucket. He said there were people that were coming in. Now, granted, they had to buy a ticket, bought the popcorn bucket, and left. There were people doing that. So there's a lot you can tap into. I mean, my main 2 AMCs that I go to, there's a lot of floor space, a ton of floor space. I mean, they could do whatever the hell they wanted. The box office outside has been closed practically since I've lived out here. You could put something in there. There's so much money that they're leaving on the table right now. And it might be tacky, but you know what? If you want to sell some like ad type stuff, put, banners or something, whatever. I'll put an M&M's banner. Everybody that's going to be walking in is going to walk right past it and get the same message in their head and watching the 12-year-old Santa M&M's commercial.
The other thing that's
100%.
The other thing that's just extremely annoying is that we had the answer to this spoon-fed to the theaters during COVID. Hollywood stopped putting out product, and they had to look to the indies at smaller releases, foreign films, and guess what? Those films didn't do those big studio numbers, but they had profit because you weren't giving 85% of the ticket to the studio. If you showed Dark and the Wicked, that distributor was just happy it was in the theaters.
Yeah.
You can make deals with smaller players where you actually have a profit margin. You don't have to sell ads. And here's the thing, you can still have your big movies because you have 18 fucking theater screens. Only 5 of those movies are selling their tickets worth of crap anyway. So you could diversify. I'll go further. You know what? There's plenty of television shows that could put their premiere episodes with some maybe additional content, interviews with the cast or whatever, on a screen, and you'd sell tickets to that too. Sporting events in movie theaters. What's the holdup? Can you imagine if one of those pay-per-view fights that everyone claims they're interested in was available in the theater?
Oh, yeah.
What are they waiting for? What is the holdup? Like, this is not brain surgery. If I can figure this shit out, you can tell me that no one in their company has thought of any of this. They're holding out because the ads are easy. That's an easy way to make cash.
And also showmanship. Like I remember stories of movies like Creature from Black Lake where you had Jungle Moss and Sasquatch in the theater. That might seem a little cheesy, but you got the space, a little corner there. Somebody wants to go and take a picture with Wonder Woman or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all little stuff, but
makes me wonder, could you put the ads on the monitors, like while you're in there, like at the concession stand playing? Now they don't have movie posters. It's all like the digital screen. Can you run it there before you even get back to the movie theater?
I mean,
I don't. That's just something, just get it out of there to where once you sit down, you're ready to watch these trailers and the movies. You
Yeah,
don't have to go
slap
through that.
your branding on, in the theater over the, whatever. You're gonna see it. It gets the message out. I mean, I don't think M&M's again has to have that same ad for me to want to go buy M&M's.
yeah. It's like, you know what? I'd forgot what M&Ms were.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
Besides a Coke commercial, the one that first one I ever remember was one of these guys were playing basketball, and it was "I love your bod, I love your bod," and it was bod a body spray.
Yeah,
That
I
was the
those.
first commercial I remember seeing in the movie theater.
Yeah.
But sorry to cut you off, Lauren. I was going to say is even showing old movies at times. Like it's like, oh, the anniversary of this movie. Then you could actually sell the DVD in the fucking lobby. It's like, hey, enjoy the movie. Take the special edition home.
AMC is pretty good with that. Not selling DVDs, but older movies.
Yeah, that's one thing I do like. I do like the, when they bring back like an older film for like an anniversary, like Hellraiser. Regal's going to do a 40th anniversary for Hellraiser screening, which is awesome. I think that's great. I think they should do more of that, honestly.
And the last thing they need to really get in their hand around is group pricing. They have to get around the idea that they're going to sell each individual ticket, because the pricing gets astronomically expensive for a family of 4 or 6. People used to go out with their whole family. I will tell you, it's the interesting thing. I know, just go roll your eyes or take that shot, but I go see a lot of Indian films. The Indian families still go to the movies together. When I go to see any American film, you might get 2 people sitting together, but mostly it's 2 or 1, and that's it. You don't see large groups of people go to the movies together. But you know what? If you could get a group pricing in place, you could make that happen. I'm convinced of it. There's no reason why date nights don't. Date night theater pricing used to be a thing in the 70s and 80s. I think it lingered in the 90s in some places, but then it got killed off because everything became Independence Day, right? The big, basically the Spielberg dream grew up. The Spielberg-Lucas thing became every movie. Everything was an event movie, and we're going to charge you more and more and more, and you're going to put up with whatever we fucking want to because you want to see this big thing, right? By the time you get to Avengers Endgame, hell, we'll make them sit for an hour and a half watching ads. Who cares? Right? Because they can't even get tickets the opening weekend, and they're terrified of having it spoiled online. So we're going to treat them however we want. This is bad customer service on a titanic scale. And truthfully, they don't make money off any of this, really. So why are they playing the game?
Yeah. Nico, our pal Nico, everybody knows Nico. He commented on my video response, and he said, took a friend to an AMC in LA today. In addition to 40 endless minutes of pre-show BS, a pair of matinee tickets with the senior discount was $37. And concessions for 2, $57, making an afternoon at a not very good movie $94 for 2.
So seriously, how many streaming services can you buy for $97
a year of like all of them almost?
So
it really sucks that the movie's bad.
That was my response. It's insult to injury if the movie sucked. You know what I mean?
I think as a single guy, like I always argue, like I have AMC A-list, so I can see 3 movies a week. I usually do. And that's a great value. There's not a lot that you can do cheaper than that, but it is tough when you maybe you're a family of 4 to make that work. And I think group pricing is a great idea. Special nights, however you want to do it. Because I still have faith that movie theaters can and will survive. They just have to get creative. I mean, you bring up date night. What do kids do now? Like, I have a friend who was telling me the other day that he gets dates off of virtual reality streams. Like, I don't even I can't wrap my head around that. But
They game together until they're comfortable enough to get together and fuck, and that's it. That's what's
Mhm.
going on.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Where are these
Sorry
virtual
to make it that
reality
blunt.
streams? Can I talk to you after this?
I don't know. It's
I'm really
different.
scared though that we're underestimating the future because we're aging. People younger than us do not go.
Mhm.
Understand that they do not go.
Mm.
And you're all younger than I am, but the truth is, like, as we roll on, we're going to become less and less relevant, and that means they're not making movies for us currently, but they're going to make even less and less. They're going to be more geared to younger people who don't go to the movies. This game is going to get much harder for them, and if they make the wrong moves, and you say, "Well, they'll figure it out," they'll. I was part of an industry, the retail music industry, that did not figure it out. I've worked for retailers that didn't figure out that their business model could not sustain.
Mm-hmm.
Do not have faith that something magically is going to intervene.
No, you have to take the steps. You absolutely have to take the steps.
And that has to start with just respecting your customers.
Absolutely. But there is hope because, again, I was amazed at how many kids I saw coming in to see Wicked. So it's not dead yet. I do think there's still a desire there. I mean, I think it's a human need to get out once in a while. And
sure.
there's only so many things left. I mean, movie theaters, I think, do have a chance. You have to get creative, tap into the merch. You know, there's an obsession in the world for Funko Pops and that sort of thing. And, you know, people still like to collect things. You know, I don't think it's a complex problem. I really don't. I really think that there's some easy things that they can do to get this on track to continue for the next 50 years.
Like Lauren was saying, they're lazy.
Yeah.
They're just lazy.
Yeah.
You know, there's a really easy way to fix all this. I mean, it's so easy that it's stupid, and it's the thing I have the least faith in. Just make great films.
Yeah.
People will want to see great films on the big screen. Truth is, a lot of times the movie theater experience gets a movie over, and then you visit it later, streaming or even on disc, and it pales.
Curate more, because there are great films out there that if you put a little push behind, I mean, how many, you know, maybe we're not mainstream, I guess, but like how many mainstream friends do you have that love the true crime stuff? Well, goddamn, you will love Red Rooms. I can almost guarantee it. You like serial killer stuff. Check that one out. It's amazing. If you curate.
You're not wrong, Dan, but the problem is that in general, what Hollywood puts out and is willing to market is not very good and has no staying power. We should be embarrassed that every year come the autumn season, you can go see Alien or the original Halloween or any of those, The Shining. If you're willing to drive an hour, I guarantee you can go see The Shining on the big screen at any time of the year.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And that's just in this genre. The horror genre is a resilient genre for an afterlife of this stuff. Something like the Western or like the romantic comedy, there is no afterlife for it. It exists as streaming only. You can't get people to show up for You've Got Mail 25th anniversary re-release. Not going to happen.
No, not going to happen.
Hollywood needs to put out better product. The exhibitors need to put pressure on the studios to put out better product. But they might not have that kind of power anymore. I mean, maybe if Netflix puts that power on it, they'll have it. But that defeats the art what we're talking about.
Evil Diner 666 says for €42, he and his girlfriend go see unlimited movies a month in the Netherlands. Pretty good deal.
Yeah. You got to make it more accessible for couples and families. Because again, it's affordable for me just going solo most of the time.
Yeah.
I think you're right though. It just comes down to money. Like you said, spending that amount of money, that's for a 2-hour experience on top of the food, on top of leaving the house, and maybe if you have children, that adds another component to it. Why not just get a streaming service, pay $10 a month, and you can watch it anytime you want?
Right.
That's not everything, but most things boil down to money. So
Yeah.
that just doesn't make sense. I mean, that's not fiscally responsible just to waste money.
And when you're competing against the comfort and convenience of home, that's not a fight that's a fight you're gonna lose.
The magic of the theater is still there for a lot of us, but it gets harder when you really start to disrespect us. When we're watching commercials, even the costs and all that, we could probably look past. But that is just spitting in our faces.
Mhm.
And that's why I made my video. Go to my channel and watch it, by the way. But I want the industry to get smarter, and I want to continue to enjoy. I love walking into that movie theater, knowing I'm buying a ticket for something. You guys, here's a little peek behind the curtain. If you guys are on any kind of like social media with me where there's private messages, I'm forever sending photographs of movie tickets. Forever, people know what I'm seeing that day. It's because it's magical to me, and I want to share, and I want it to be communal. There's nothing communal about watching a movie at home. I want people to be excited about going out and actually doing. I want movie going to be a culture. It shouldn't be just therapy at home and make you feel, I don't know. This is what I'm doing tonight to unwind from the day's work. We all have to do that, but maybe one day a week we can go out to a theater and have an experience in a real place. Like, the question always comes up: if you opened a zoo that had no animals in it, but just had a bunch of screens showing animals, would you buy tickets for that? No, right?
It's not the experience.
No.
Yeah.
Because it's not the experience.
I think I think the answer to all this is hard eyes. I think hard eyes that's the answer.
Couples night. Do some funny gimmicks for that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
His and her popcorn buckets that connect or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's another thing I enjoy about Draft House is they'll have movie parties where it's a movie that everybody loves and is popular. Everybody will shout out lines for it. They also have little props to play along with it. So it's still like selling, because those tickets are like $15 sometimes, but they're worth it sometimes because it's the experience of the movie. You're enjoying everything with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, please be kind. Rewind. He asked about the Fathom events, which we kind of touched on that a little while ago. And I love it. And what's great is that watching. I've seen Jaws a million times, but when I saw it on the big screen, it was like a whole different experience. Or like watching The Shining for the first time on the big screen. It's just a different feel. It's just a different experience, I think. So I love the Fathom events, and it's so cool to see a movie that I love, that I've seen on television a million times on the big screen. So I love those events because of that.
Yeah, the place where I'm at, they'll actually do Halloween 1 and 2 at like a drive-in.
Yeah, that's cool. Looks like we've lost Lauren. I think he's had some technical difficulties. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Hey.
You planned out your week based on the trailers they showed on TV?
Mm-hmm.
Now YouTube trailer. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Movies it's not a surprise anymore. We know when a movie's getting made. We know when the teaser trailer's coming out. So
My theater too will do something. Maybe y'all get this as well, but whenever you go in there, they'll actually have little mini posters for free. Do y'all's theaters have that?
Yes, it depends sometimes. Like I feel like sometimes they just don't put them out, but yeah, you go in, sometimes you get something really nice. It'll even be good card stock.
It'd be
And
like, yeah, sitting by like the concession stand, there'll just be a stack of free little mini posters that you could take and stuff.
they could advertise that better. I mean, they can be like, "Hey, we've got first 100 people that show up, 50 people, whatever, free one free item, more giveaways like that to get people in." Hey, it's working to a degree on the popcorn buckets. I've talked
oh yeah.
to the guys there who told me it's like, yeah, there are people coming more for this than the movie because they
Yeah.
wanted, the face hugger popcorn bucket. So
Yeah.
They're running with those things straight to eBay.
yeah,
So,
same.
They
Yeah.
do that at college sports. The first, 500 people get a free T-shirt. That's a good point.
That's anything that they can do to make it more of an experience, to make it worth the money. While, like Lauren said, not spitting in our faces, not yeah. There's just a lot of money they're leaving on the table because they're just I don't know if they're just old fogies and they don't want to change, if it's just straight up laziness. Like again, the arcade section in a movie theater, like why is that still there? Like there's nostalgic value to that, but nobody's playing those games. It's such a waste of space and a waste of money that you're spending to power the things. You know what I mean? There's just so much more you could put in that area.
Yeah.
That's where I see the worker like talking on their cell phone, taking a break. It's in that area.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that's the one place they know they can go and hide because there's nobody ever going to go in there. They can go over there and do God knows what.
Yeah.
Well, add to the bar. Like at least with my AMC now, they have a bar. It's kind of small, but you could just expand that. Come get your gimmick drinks. I know they had one for Wicked. Like there's just so much that they can do, and there's hope. I mean, they're starting to do it, popcorn buckets and what have you. But
I mean, just imagine like a bloody drink with like little broken hearts of like sour broken hearts in it for hard eyes.
Mine will
Everybody like
probably have something like that. Yeah.
Well, it's like Draft House does that specific thing. They'll have a specific food or a specific drink. They'll run for a couple months for movies.
Yeah, they can expand the food too. I mean, I love my classic mozzarella sticks, nachos, whatever, but that they can expand like Alamo and maybe give you a few more premium food options.
Could you imagine showing up to the Substance and you're like, why are they serving shrimp? I love shrimp. Give me some shrimp. And then you're eating your shrimp, and then you see Dennis quit. You're like, that's it. You never touch shrimp again. Oh, looks like Lauren had something crashed hard on his end. Okay. Saw 7 4K remaster at the IMAX theater today. Holds up. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that'd be fun to watch 7 on the big screen. Lauren's channel name is Visited by Voices 1, or you can find it under Visited by Voices Network.
Yeah, network now.
Yeah. Well, we have definitely talked about quite a bit on this show. Anything else you guys want to talk about tonight? Anything else on your all's minds, or anything on the audience's mind you want us to talk about?
Yeah. There is something I do want to mention, Piz. I know we talked briefly on this. There is a movie that I think that Red Rooms movie is phenomenal. That really surprised me. And I know it's a French film, so some people they might be turned away from that, but that is absolutely worth watching, hands down. That is a phenomenal movie.
The lead character in that, and if you've seen it, is just so complex. You have no idea what she's doing, what her motivations are.
I kept thinking she was like gonna kill
Yeah,
the
you
other
don't
girl.
you don't know. It's an anxiety inducing movie. French Canadian. It's genuinely scary because it's kind of based in reality. So yeah, there's a lot like that.
I think it may be on. It's on a streamer because I know I scanned by it the other night. I don't remember.
Shudder, I think.
Shutter.
Now.
Okay,
That's where I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew it was on one of them. I was scrolling through. I couldn't remember if it was Shutter or Netflix, but yeah. So it's out there. Good stuff.
Yeah,
Very
you
good
put a
stuff.
hype machine by something like that, that could be your next 7 easily.
It's like you said, Dan, like a lot of people are into that true crime stuff, and that is right there. I mean, that is like phenomenal stuff.
Yeah.
And I
For sure.
loved how that was presented. I mean, I went into it blind, which really helped me out.
Yes, I did too. I think that helps. That opening scene, that's like one big long take in the courtroom. Like
I
was
loved how
was
that
great
courtroom was set up too. That was
Mhm.
something
stuff. Yeah.
I guess that took place in Quebec. But
Yeah, the scene where somebody shows up dressed as the victim. That was
Oh yes.
I was like, whoa. I don't know what's going on.
and
That's
the
not
little
gonna-
wave.
That's not gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. It's those
Oh,
little
Lord.
things like that really take it to another level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tony, we kind of talked about trailers a little while ago and how that, modern trailers aren't, our cup of tea because they do give away too much and
Mhm.
it's best to avoid them. But then you find yourself in the theater and you're watching See No Evil trailer again for the 800th time. So,
Yeah.
this was some news that dropped recently. The Toxic Avenger movie is finally going to be coming out.
Oh,
The
really?
movie
Rated.
that was unreleasable, that was supposed to be unreleasable, is finally getting released in its unrated form.
Like the new one?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure about a release date, but it's coming out.
Yeah, I think it's soon, but I know somebody who saw it who's been waiting for it now to officially come out, and I'm really curious what the reaction's going to be because I don't think they sold out. I don't think this is like some mainstream superhero thing, from what I understand. It's very much in the spirit of Toxic Avenger, so I'm dying to check it out.
Yeah.
So
What's up, Brian?
they made the movie and they said, this is too much. We can't release it. And then
I'm
they
not sure if
said,
it was. I'm not sure if it was because it was too graphic or because it was bad. It was just like, this is unreleasable.
oh, okay.
They-
So there's a chance it could have been, okay. I see what you're saying. It
Yeah.
could go the other way. Okay.
From what I understand, what it boiled down to is like we don't know how to market this. Now, I'm not saying it's like Deadpool. It's not, but I really think they would have benefited. Like, let's get it out. The non-traditional superhero movie is the one that's hitting right now. So let's throw it out and see what happens. I mean, it's not going to be Deadpool, but look at the nostalgia for Toxic Crusaders, all that merch that's out right now. And
I know. Yeah.
it. So you never know.
I think it'll probably do okay. I mean, it's Toxic Avenger. People kind of know, even if they don't know what Toxic Avenger and Trauma really is, they kind of know it's dangerous, like it's subversive. So I think that could have something to do with it. And like, there's been kind of a Toxic Avenger resurgence lately. Like you said, the Toxic Crusader show. We got a really nice box set of the Toxic Avenger movies not that long ago, like last year.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Peter Dinklage is the Toxic Avenger, though. That's it's an odd one, odd choice, but it'll probably work. I don't know. Let's see. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Let's see what's going on in the chat. If there's anything else in the chat. Trailers are in a weird place today because movies don't have much to spoil, honestly, but they manage to destroy whatever is there anyway. Almost impressive in a sad way. That's kind of true, honestly. Yeah, that's kind of true.
You were mentioning earlier about sporting events there, and I know it's not like every theater that does it, but I went to a couple AEW pay-per-views at the theater, and it was pretty damn close to being at an actual event. The movie theater etiquette is obviously not the same, so people were chanting stuff and having a good time. So I do recommend that. I don't think AEW does it anymore, but who knows? Maybe somebody else.
Like watching like a big, highly touted boxing match at the theater. Would be pretty wild, I think. Yeah,
and also concert films. I mean, look at how many people showed up to that Taylor Swift stuff. Again, not our thing, but there are ways. I do think there are still even some younger people that do want to get out of their house once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure.
Man, imagine the sales if you would have had some T-shirts for that Taylor Swift stuff.
Exactly.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Stickers and whatever.
For sure. There's a new Dracula movie, and Danny Elfman is set to do the music. I did not hear that. I know we are getting 2 Frankenstein movies this year. We are getting Del Toro's Frankenstein on Netflix, which looks very promising. And we're getting The Bride with Christian Bale as the monster, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I feel like that's going to be good. I mean, Maggie doesn't attach herself to garbage, and neither does Christian Bale. So for the most part, so I'm kind of excited to see what they do with that.
Yeah, I think it's cool. We're getting some Frankenstein love this year. Frankenstein's usually like in the background. So, but the Del Toro thing will be. I don't think if he misses with this one, it'll be like.
Is that the one with Mia Goth in it?
Yes, Mia Goth is in it. Oscar Isaacs plays Dr. Frankenstein. I forget who the monster is, but yeah, Mia Goth is in there. And we don't know who she's playing. I don't think she's playing like Mrs. Frankenstein. Oh, maybe she'll pop up at the end as the bride.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
She could be a good. She'd be a good bride.
Open for that, yeah.
She would, yeah. If they can expand this whole like a new Universal Monsters universe, a good one. Like imagine her as the bride, or imagine her as like Dracula's daughter. Or something like that, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I think she'll drag over some of the X fans that might not be as inclined to check out gothic horror. I mean, she's great. I mean, she's one of those actresses. I'll go check it out because she's in it.
Yeah. So Frankenstein fans, you got some choice, and the Maggie Gyllenhaal Frankenstein is like modern.
Yeah.
So modern times Frankenstein.
I mean that we'll see how it goes, but I'm curious to see what she does. Are you guys excited for 28 years later?
Did you hear that? So it's the middle part of a trilogy. Did you hear that? And Cillian Murphy will not be in this one; he'll be in the next one. So everybody who was like, that's the Cillian Murphy zombie. That's really not him.
Yeah.
So it's the middle part of a trilogy, as in 28 months later was the first part?
Or is it? No, I'm sorry. It's the first part of a new trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
There's only
the first
two
part
before
of
this. Yeah,
there's only 2 before it, but this is, and what they're going to do is this is 28 years later. The next one they're going to bounce back. It's going to be in between 28 weeks and 28 weeks and 28 years, and that's where Cillian Murphy's going to be. And then where they go from there, who knows?
And that's a good example of a good trailer. It doesn't give away too much. You've got the creepy chanting and everything. I'm like, I'm in. I don't need to see more. That looks great.
Do you dislike the idea of them already announcing it's a trilogy?
I do a little bit. I do because I don't. It just sets up these expectations, and like you're already walking. You're going to be well. I mean, I guess it's smart because, or I don't know. I just keep that to yourself. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, so you're telling me that if I'm going to invest in this movie, I've got to invest in 2 more. Let me just invest in this one. Let me have fun with this one and not have to think about.
Just make one good one.
Just make one good one. Exactly. Not everything needs to
one.
be a trilogy. Just work on the first one, make it good. You know what I mean? Jeez.
Don't stretch this out and make like
Exactly.
one good one and 2 okay ones. You know.
Yeah. And if this one's not good, forget about the trilogy. It's not happening. You know what I mean?
They did with The Strangers. I mean, they're still gonna throw out that second piece of crap. So
I think they had to do a bunch of reshoots because like there was a bunch of spoilers that got leaked. So they're having to like do reshoots, which is probably a good idea, honestly, that they're rethinking some of it maybe, but
yeah.
Good Lord. Yeah. That chapter 1. And I was so hopeful for a Rennie Harlan revival, but that's not it.
Yeah.
That was not it. That was not it. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. I think
they needed a trilogy.
I think I did hear that Luc Besson was doing that now. Yeah. Luc Besson Dracula. That'll be interesting. Like I don't think Luc Besson in Dracula, but I don't know. It could work. I love The Professional. La Femme Nikita's great. You know,
I like pretty much all of his movies. So I'm a little surprised. I mean, because he had some accusations that might affect that movie. So
I would not be surprised. Like, how old's Mina going to be in this one then?
If it's to his taste.
There were apparently some very questionable scenes in The Professional that he wanted to shoot that he could not do between Jean Reno and Natalie Portman. So thank goodness he did not shoot those. But yeah, I like that movie a lot. But I like what I heard about it. Like what he wanted to do was a little like.
Oh, he's
risque.
A great filmmaker, but yeah, if you do some Google searches on when he met certain love interests and when they started dating, it's pretty creepy.
A little bit, yeah. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and call it a night there, folks. We've been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes. We've covered a lot of bases, but join the MMTH. Or I'm sorry, the MMT. Why can't I remember this thing? I'm the creator of it. I can't remember. MMTGA. I'm trying to create this movement. I don't even remember the whatever. MMTGA. Make movie theaters great again movement. We can do this. You just have to change some minds. We can do this. Yeah. Let's see. Swaggy, where can we find you on social media?
Yes, I'm only on Instagram, and it's John's underscore. What is it? Underscore Cool's World. And I just want to say, Piz, this is a new year. I'm going to try out something a little bit different. All right. I'm never going to reach this many audiences, so I'm going to have this chance here. I'm going to give away a free copy of In Search of Darkness, and it's 1, 2, and 3 on my Instagram. I'm going to post it on there, and it'll be a little bit of things, but I just want to hopefully try to build my audience a little bit more on there. And I don't know if y'all have seen this. I'm surely y'all have, but these are excellent. You know, so.
Okay, hold on a second here. I'm going to get the link to your Instagram, and I'm going to post it in the chat.
Oh, thanks, Piz.
For
Appreciate it.
Everybody. All right, there is Swaggy's Instagram if you are interested in entering that giveaway, because that's that's like 40 hours of documentary between those 3 movies. My goodness, that's a lot.
I've never done this, so I think I'm going to do something like, hey, just write a comment about like a really good 80s movie that is kind of gone like underrated or not many people have seen. I'm always looking for new movies to check out, and that's probably the biggest way that I can get a lot of input in that. So thank you for doing that.
You're very welcome. And I just Full Moon has just booked William Forsythe for this year's show.
Oh, okay.
So William Forsythe will be there. You can guarantee I'm going to ask him to tell me that he's going to do things to my eye. He's going to crawl across the table and do bad things to my eye. So
he's a fun guy.
Never met him. That'll be a fun one. Yeah. So. All right, there you go, guys. You want to win In Search of Darkness 1, 2, and 3? Head over to Swaggy's Instagram. And are you still wearing the same shirt, or did you have a wardrobe change, Swaggy?
No, it's the same shirt.
Okay, so I was thinking, like, when did you change shirts? But it's just, but I mean, it's you, of course, you know. So you gotta stay swag, gotta stay fresh.
There was no wardrobe change between breaks here, so.
Chris, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on X/Twitter, Bonus Pretzel. I also made a Blue Sky account. I'm not there very often. On there as well as Bonus Pretzel. Follow me wherever. I'll give away Swaggy's hat. I'll just steal it from him.
if Chris and Sam can make it to Full Moon, take his hat away. You're bigger than him. You're like 3 feet bigger.
Yeah. I would love to get a picture with him. That would be pretty good.
It would be like you're his kid or something, you know. Dan, where can we find you on social media?
Flesh Wound Features here on YouTube. We just did our best and worst of 2024 episode last night. We're all very different, so you get a good variety of movies that you may have missed. And yeah, so check us out, Flesh Wound Features.
Right on, yeah. And Lauren, who was here, again, his channel is Visited by Voices Network. You can also find a link directly to his channel in my last video upload about the major movie theater chains. So let me do some shout outs here and then we'll call it a night. Shout out to Chris. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight, sir. Tony Movie Chappie, thank you for being here. Tyler, thank you. Big Ideas 3. Brian Trash was here. Jimmy the Lip was here. Evil Diner 666 was hanging out with us over on Twitch. Horrid Films, Please Be Kind Rewind was hanging out with us over on Twitch as well. Let's see what still we have. Oh, my buddy Horror Orman was here. Evil Ash was here. Briley was here. The Daily Ghost was haunting us out in the chat. Fat Pig the Conqueror was here. Is that Woody Harrelson in there? That's Woody Harrelson in there.
Gimmick, I guess.
We got Scratch Burno hanging out with us tonight. Biggie Fitz was here. Dustin Lewis. Dominic, thank you for that $5 super chat. Very much appreciated. Steve Mayers, Justin Smith, Dark Hawk Mark, Dylan, Don Wilk 91. Yeah, thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll see y'all again very soon. Peace.